Hey guys, it's Steph from Hot and Moving. Oh man, so big news in Phoenix for the Phoenix Suns. We finally got to reach a buyout agreement with Bradley Beal. All right, so and he finds a new home in Los Angeles with the Clippers. Okay, we'll talk about that fit in a bit. But I mean, it's this bitter divorce finally ends. Okay, I'll get to the bitter part of it in a bit. But look, Bradley Beal had no trade clause. Okay, we wanted to move him last season, and we just couldn't do it because he just didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay. Okay, and that kind of made things, that tensions, kind of rose, and then he had issues with Mike Budenholzer. It was just a messy situation, and then you heard reports of them fighting in the locker room. Katie shut it down, saying that didn't happen. Listen, man, it's hard for me to believe a word out of Katie's mouth, but whatever. Okay. All right. So, let's see. Beal will have to give up roughly almost $14 million over the life of his contract to make the buyout work, because NBA teams are only allowed to stretch 50% of the current salary cap. At the time, Phoenix already has $3.8 million stretch money owed to Nasir Little and EJ Liddell on his books. Clippers were able to offer Beal up to $5.3 million in salary this upcoming season after using most of their non-tax payer mid-level exemption to sign center Brook Lopez. The Clippers also made a trade that saw Norman Powell go to the Miami Heat and John Collins come to the Los Angeles in a 3-team deal with the Utah Jazz. Okay. Just from a Phoenix Suns standpoint, the decks are cleared, even though we owe Bradley Beal money. Okay. We can now just kind of focus on how our future is going to look, right? Okay. We got that draft. We got a draft pick, that 10th draft pick, which we got a center. Was it Malawak from Duke? We got Mark Williams. We got Jalen Green. We have Devin Booker. And yeah, I don't know who else on the roster at this point. Shame on me for not knowing everybody on the roster. Okay. Do I have a lot of expectations for Phoenix Suns? No. I just look forward to seeing Jalen Green develop even more, right? New opportunity, new environment for him. And you know what? Expectations are low for the Phoenix Suns, and that's good. Okay, when you have a team with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant underperforming, a lot of ISO ball, no ball movement, lack of a consistent big, a lot of problems, right? Just couldn't work. The big three era was I think that was our last test case scenario. Now people are gonna look at the big three era in OKC with Chad, Jalen, and Shea, right? We'll see. They won a championship, so it worked. All right, they got their chip early. Doing a post big three and bringing in guys, just the money, the aprons, it just ain't gonna work like that anymore. It's just not. And you hear rumblings of just. You see, well, first of all, there's a lot of conversation about why teams are selling, why ownership has been selling, the amount of NBA teams have been sold, because not that they can't afford it, is that they don't want to deal with all this tax stuff. And this is CBA that the owners agreed to. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times CBAs, players get screwed. But in this case, owners seem to screw themselves. Adam Silver won more league with parity, and you got that. So this is the last of it. The last relic of Big Three types, like doing it like this. Okay, happy he's gone. Injury prone, barely played 60 games a season while he was with us. Okay, just not a good fit overall. I don't know what the owner was thinking, but we can put the Bradley Beal saga to rest. I've been happy. I've been looking forward to this being over with and just moving forward. Whatever that future looks like, we don't need Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. It just wasn't going to work. It barely worked year one. Year two, disaster. Okay? It is what it is. All right? So now there's been some issues though with Bradley Beal. So that's the Suns. That's as a Suns fan, but I'm not going to be biased though in this particular aspect. So there was some problems with Bradley Beal not getting his bread or not wanting to give up all that money. You know what I'm saying? There was some issues with Brian Woods reported Thursday the buyout would only work if Beal left at least $13.9 million on the table, because a maximum of 15% of the salary cap can be allocated for bought out players. And it says that Windhorst reported that the Suns hoped he would leave more, which would lead to heated talks. Well, look, man, that part. Look, you get that's your money. You earn that contract. That's your contract. I understand that. Look, I can see why I was bitter. Number one, the Suns don't want to, they wanted more money from Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal is like, no, I want all my bread, and you know what? I want my freedom, but you're not going to get another dime more than I'm allowed to give for the buyout to work. And I don't blame him, okay? As much as I don't like Bradley Beal as a player, as much as I thought he was useless on our team, okay, I think that the Suns, trying to, maximize their money and what they want to buy, how much they wanted Bradley Beal to pay them back. No, fuck all that, okay? Get your money. I don't ever leave money on the table. And if you do want your freedom, which his freedom cost $14 million to stretch that out or to give back whatever it was, like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, for Bradley Beal's sake, do I think it's going to work on the Clippers? I mean, they got John Collins. They got Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Zubac. On paper, it kind of sounds like something they can work with. But, I mean, you got rid of Norman Powell. Okay, and then you're dealing with a guy who load manages in Kawhi Leonard, and to Kawhi Leonard's credit, he was able to play through the playoffs. Okay, going to Game 7 with Denver, great series. Okay, didn't work out. Okay, but he played. Could that be signs of Kawhi Leonard having a healthier season? Will Bradley Beal be more active and be more in the lineup this season? Right, that is something to consider. Could this work? It looks good on paper, but Bradley Beal looks good on paper all the time. In his case, is he really going to be that big of a factor? They're saying that he can get open threes. Sure. If he's going to be a dedicated three-point shooter, then that's a bonus. Then that's a bonus for them, and he's cheap. So it's a win-win for the Clippers, a win-win for Bradley Beal if he's healthy, and a win-win for us in the Phoenix Suns fan, because you know what, we're done with all these guys. We can focus on the future, and try to free up some money. Maybe in the future we get some additional role players here and there. Try to build around Devin Booker. If that don't work out with Devin Booker, with him getting his money, then you know what? That's a potential trade piece. I don't know if Devin Booker has a no trade clause. I think he doesn't. But you know what? That's an option too, where we can get some assets back. And then maybe if Jalen Green is developing, build around Jalen Green, right? We'll see. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts about all this. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. I'm out.